Recubbed, a Lion King fanfic by Lionkingview. Chapter 5. I will count to 3, and if you aren't on the ground when I reach 3, you won't get a bedtime story. Sarabi gave her son an ultimatum as she had done many years ago for the last time. Simba was sitting in a tree in defiance. But Mom, it's not even sundown. Also, I don't want a bedtime story, I'm a big boy. Simba pouted. Sarabi groaned in annoyance. Most big boys don't climb trees to get away from their mommies, reasoned Nala, who had been sitting next to Sarabi in bemusement. Can't I stay up just a bit longer? Said Simba in defeat as he descended the tree. Not after the stunt you pulled today, young lion, said Sarabi. But, interjected Simba, no buts! Into the den! Now! Ordered Sarabi. What an exhausting ordeal the last hour had been. Sarabi had been overwhelmed with memories and emotions flooding back in. The cub she had thought dead for so many years was now standing here in front of her. In a way, that cub had actually died, because when Simba returned a few years ago, he was all grown up. No time to go by as he became bigger, just a suddenly grown lion appearing out of nowhere. Now, the cub was here again. The same mannerisms, the same voice, the same stubbornness. It was all the same, but it wasn't right. Simba obliged his mother and trotted into the den while muttering something under his breath. What was that, young lion? Asked Sarabi sharply. Nothing, Mom, he responded hurriedly. Sarabi followed her son into the den. You be good now? Asked Sarabi. Yes, Mom, answered Simba. Mom? Asked Simba sheepishly. Yes, Simba, said Sarabi. Can Dad come in and wish me a good night? Asked Simba. A feeling of cold shock went through Sarabi's spine as she heard her son ask that question. Mufasa is... She stopped. The memories of her late husband flooded her brain. Feelings of joy, happiness, sadness, but also memories of the now and then occurring fight. She recomposed herself and said, Your father is on a diplomatic meeting outside of the Pride Lands, she lied. Oh, Mom? Simba asked again. Yes, son? Sarabi replied. Can you tell me a bedtime story? He asked. I thought you were a big boy who doesn't need a bedtime story, said Sarabi with amusement. Well, I am, but I like it when you tell me stories, Simba said. Nala was about to look for her mother when Sarabi addressed her. Nala, do you want to listen as well? Asked Sarabi. Yeah, sure, said Nala as she ran up to Simba and snuggled up next to him. So Sarabi started to tell the story. Alright, so this is the story of Upanga, who was a young lion about to hit adulthood. He was a prince, and the next in succession for the throne. It was because of this that his parents expected him to take a lioness as a queen to rule with. But Upanga had long been in love with a leopardess called Bahari, and she loved him back. Simba rolled his eyes and Nala chuckled. Sarabi continued. He knew that he could never love anyone else the way that he loved Bahari. But he also felt a sense of responsibility, for he knew his parents would not accept this relationship. An arranged marriage was underway. Upanga was to be married to a young lioness called Upepo. Upepo was beautiful and smart, but not whom Upanga desired, and Upepo did not desire Upanga. She had her eyes on another lion. Both Upepo and Upanga had even talked with one another about it, but they both knew that their parents would insist on the marriage. It was 2 days before the wedding that Upanga went to see his tribe's wise elder. Upanga told the wise one about his conundrum, and the elder listened patiently. Once the prince had spoken, the elder thought about what had been said long and hard. After 2 hours, the elder spoke to Upanga. He told the prince that if his love for the cheetah was indeed genuine, that there was no need for him to be sad. It was only a marriage that had been arranged to help two prides unite in a shared strength. This marriage had nothing to do with love. He was free to love freely. The wise one went on to tell him that most traditions are there to help everyone to have something steady to hold on to, even in times of change. In actuality, they didn't mean much. The wise one concluded that Upanga should still tell his parents about the feelings he harbored for Bahari. As long as the marriage would still happen, so the wise men reasoned, they would not mind it one way or another. So, Prince Upanga did as the wise men had told him. He told his parents the truth. There was a long silence in the royal den before Upanga's father, the king, spoke again. The king then said that he agreed with the elder. He told his son that he wanted nothing more than for him to be happy. So the marriage was held as planned. Upanga and Upepa would usher in a golden era of their lands. They even came to see that the fact that they didn't desire each other helped them rule with more effectivity. Upanga and Bahari loved one another deeply, and although Upanga and Upepa would still have to mate to get offsprings, their children would be raised by either Upepa and her mate, or Upanga and Bahari, depending on who was available. The two couples lived happily until the end of their days. The end, said Sarabi with a warm smile as she looked down onto the two cubs. Both Nala and Simba had fallen asleep. Outside of the den, the lion guard had assembled. Alright, so Rafiki said that the ingredients would be ready by tomorrow morning, said Fuli. That's some great news, declared Kion. Let's hope tomorrow won't be as stressful as today, he added. Sarabi emerged from the den. I hope so too, she said. Where are they now? Asked Kion. They are fast asleep, said Sarabi as she led the guard inside the den. The two cubs lay there, cuddled up to one another. A unanimous "Aww" was given by the guard. A few minutes later, the guard had disassembled. Fuli was about to leave Pride Rock to head off to her resting place when Sarabi approached her. So, Fuli, did you talk to Kion yet? She said with her usual calm demeanor. The young cheetah muttered nervously. It's okay if you haven't yet. Just remember the story I told you, Sarabi said with a smile. Have a good night, young cheetah, said Sarabi as she started to walk towards the den entrance. Thanks. You too. Fuli was about to run off when she turned around again. One question, if I may, she said. Ask away, responded the former queen. Is that story true? Asked Fuli. Sarabi chuckled. Well, some names were different, but I can't help but think that this could have happened, she answered. Fuli thought about this for a few seconds, and then smiled a self-assured smile. Thank you for making me feel better. With these words, the cheetah was speeding off. No problem, said Sarabi as she entered the den. What were you talking to Fuli about? Asked Kion curiously. Oh, it was a minor problem she needed my advice on. She'll tell you tomorrow, said Sarabi as she lay down. Khan didn't know what to make of this, but he was tired and so he didn't bother asking any further questions. He fell asleep a few seconds later. Sarabi still lay awake, memories of family life before that fateful day, all these years ago, ran through her mind. Tears of sorrow and joy rolled down her cheeks as she too, finally, fell asleep. End of chapter 5.